meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah, I was asked to send it for awareness. I knew that we had a meeting, but at least maybe there was a way to sign up to continue to be notified.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
I signed up to be on it, so obviously I'm not attending, but yeah, so he's giving an update. It's,
And it's just the kickoff, so there'll be others.
yeah.
Courtney, Sean come? Sean with Tampa Partnership.
Oh, no, he's traveling for work, so he can't make it. But Roger German wanted to come.
Oh, good.
We got the head guy
Oh,
here.
yeah.
We got the head.
No, Tony?
Hi, Roger.
Roger, welcome.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I started out at his place this morning. Yeah, it was a wonderful event y'all had.
Thank you.
That little coffee, the guava was fantastic.
That's what I missed this morning. That's all right. Did you go? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for
sorry.
doing that.
I ended up having a conflict, but I know our, like, 4 CRA team members were there.
They were. Yeah, we appreciate that. Absolutely. No, it's fun. We can touch base. We'll do more of those.
Okay, good,
Yeah, without question.
good. So have things fallen apart since Andy left? You got it,
It shouldn't fall apart if I leave. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have a good, healthy organization that any one person,
Yeah.
right? wants to
That's
absorb.
true, very good, yeah.
So, yeah, if I win the lottery tonight, then, yeah,
It'll still keep,
I'll still keep chugging.
yeah,
It
Penguin,
might be on something, right, you know, for an exhibit if I win the lottery. but,
Yeah.
no, it's all-
well, I hope he likes Chattanooga.
What's that?
Yeah.
I hope he likes Chattanooga.
It's, no, we're good, we're all good.
Yeah.
Well, we actually have, I know Julie is coming, so, but we do have quorum right
Yeah,
now,
it's
so we
5:30.
can start.
Yeah. Jeez.
Here's Julie.
Hi, Julie. Okay, we're gonna call this meeting to order. And at this point, let's do a roll call.
Go around.
Julie Sabalik. Catherine Harper.
Brett Hill.
Steve McLaughlin.
Andy Joe Scaglione.
Mark Siebenaler.
Oh, boy. Okay. Public comment? I know he always likes this.
No, there's no, I don't think he's got anything.
No public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
I call it, there's a noise pollution meeting going on with the city right now, and he's
Okay.
trying to get
monitoring
rid
it.
of that.
Okay. So, action items, has everybody reviewed the minutes? Any corrections?
Courtney does a good job.
Yeah, these are good minutes.
Thank you.
Good detailed minutes. Okay, I see no corrections, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. We will go into, we got, Tony, saw him this morning and he can't make it. And he was sorry he couldn't make it. He enjoys coming here. But we got the head guy here. So Roger, take it away.
All right.
Always nice to see you.
Where does Tony sit, stand, do whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stand.
Grab a seat.
Yeah, just get a seat wherever you feel comfortable.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Great to be here. Now, I know both Andy, right, has represented, and Tony has represented us for a while, and will still do so, but I get to hear from them, and, you know, we're super honored to be able to address all of you, you know, regularly. So Andy mentioned briefly this morning, and I know we kind of put an invite out to you all and others, but just a quick update on the event we had this morning, which was really a neighbors. One of the things you'll hear us say, and I hope my team always says it, is we see ourselves as neighbors of the Channel District. We don't see ourselves as like, hey, here's the aquarium, or yes, we are a business, but we're really neighbors. And so this morning was about the last couple months we've taken that Kew garden that's outside of our front doors that often is seen as an entry point to the aquarium, where really it's kind of just, it should be seen as everybody's, kind of green space, I'll say, in many ways. So our horticulture team has spent the last couple of months really planting things, bringing color, trying to bring kind of more of a park-like setting for the infrastructure we currently have. And so this morning was kind of a coffee and donuts with, and trying to invite everybody from, the Channel District to come down and spend some time, see your, as I like to say, kind of little community garden. So we'd like to do more things like that. We'd love to get your help on getting the word out, whether it's formal or just even informal, as to just connecting, that piece of property with the, with our neighborhood and the community. One thing that we talked about before the past, just so you're aware, and it came up this morning, Courtney, with your team again. I know that there's been a purchase of that land that was the old RV lot, I think, that connects. And we reiterated our commitment to working with you all to provide, whether it's council, whether it's, if it's decided to be more of a park-like setting, there's our horticulture folks help in any ways, from pollinator gardens to other things. So again, giving back to the community where we can, even though it's not on our property, or there's some things that we can do. So,
that's awesome.
So those are a couple of things that we're working on. We're also trying to spruce up the place a little. There's an art project, a community art project we're working with Andy on up and down Channel Side Drive that, I think will help just, again, bring more attention to the district. And then lastly, what I'll just say real quick, and I know our Oprah team again has done enough, is, we were in the, thank you again for your support, this time last year, really, to get the CRA funding to help support our expansion and renovation project. And phase 2 of 4 will open later this summer. And so you'll all get invites to the, to kind of the previews and the opening, kind of targeting more around that July 4th. It's that second floor exhibit. It'll be super cool. It'll help not only enhance the Florida Aquarium and our brand and our location, but also 2 things. 1, live into the aquarium and kind of neighbor that you are all proud to have around you. And 2 is it will be that tourism, driver. It'll keep, driving attendance, to this region. With our hope, especially with the way the parking lot is set up, our hope is that those folks always, go and spend their time and resources in the district as well, right? The local businesses and coffee shops and, everything else that's here. So that is one of our goals. We've always tried to flip that to make sure we are a net asset for the community as well. So that's happening, and the next couple of years, 26 and 27, is our goal to, might bleed a little bit 28 with the way the economy is going and do whatever, is to get the larger puffins and sea lions and penguin exhibit open. So we're excited about that. But this summer will be that very first exhibit that you'll all get an invite to, and again, we hope you're proud of it. But we're super excited. Another strong year, for the aquarium. We hit 2 million, or hit $1 million last year again for the second year in a row. Hopeful that we'll hit that $1 million mark again this year. But I think there's still a little bit of, I don't want to say afterglow, because that's more, I'm a positive guy, so I think it's the afterglow from kind of the hurricanes a little bit, especially in the local market. You may all be feeling it. We're feeling it a little bit too, but still another very strong, solid year at the aquarium.
Roger, I hear these annual passes. I have friends of mine. They say it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, we go every other week.
Do you? Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
Us and the stroller gangs are all, the member mornings are fantastic. We're obsessed with the member mornings, the member nights. It's the best.
That's what I hear. That
awesome.
Younger friends of mine.
And that's one thing that we are focused on. There's 2 things, and I'll tie into. So one is, so we changed our hours a little bit. So we've altered our. I mean, since day 1 we were like 9:30 to 5, and nobody knew why. Could you change a little bit based on where people are, what their visitation is. So we've changed hours. We tell folks go online. It's still open a lot, but that has allowed us to evaluate some other things. Like we've added this new thing called member mornings, and we're going to add more and more so that it is really truly exclusive member hours, right? we're looking at things like, neighborhood events or, stroller mom, toddler Tuesdays. We're gonna try to do a little bit more of those. So watch for more of that to come out. So any feedback you
It
can give us.
hits nap time. And I can give you the nap times because every mom follows the same books. All the extracurriculars are on the exact noon, 8, it follows the small week windows.
Okay.
And it's perfect. The
Weird.
member nights, the member mornings, that's not really the only times we pull it off.
Okay. Well, if there are other things like that too, no, that's great. I'll give the team the feedback. But that is, we don't want to just, throw out like, hey, seniors, well, wait, they're not coming there at that point, like, or so if anybody has that. The other thing that we are exploring, and we do, and I talk about the neighbor program, and coming off of this morning's event, and we'll do a little more. I will say, probably shouldn't say publicly, but I will say publicly that we're trying to explore, and this is where we could use your help too, the zip code, right, or at least the channel district folks being neighbors. How do we try to provide a discount on a membership or annual passes, some of those, for those who live literally in that, whether it's the zip code or whether it's just enough to be, how can we identify the channel district? We're in the channel district. I know there's Water Street, and I know there's downtown, and I know there's everything else. But we really want to, make that connection a little stronger. So
does anybody know,
ideas?
because the 33602 is basically, I think, the channel district zip code. But I don't know how much further outside that number it expands.
That's what I don't know. And if the expansion isn't super big, then I think it's okay. That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, what would be the way, and maybe Courtney, I don't know if the city or someone can break it down a little more by blocks, that would be considered. But if there's.
Yeah, there's a schematic somewhere that shows the zip codes out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think you could just Google it. I would have hoped that there would be a map. You do 33602, and it would just show you exactly what's entailed.
You can probably do that in Tampa downtown zip codes.
I could ask our GIS analysts to just narrow that down.
Yeah, if you could, even just to because again, I don't know how big it is
Right.
because I'm different. Yeah, so I'm a little different. Yeah, with what the swath is. But if there's a way that if it's not super huge, that's no big deal, right?
Yeah.
If it's pretty big, we want to start at least with, again, I think we're a little hyper sensitive in a positive way to the channel district. Again, you all are our neighbors even more so, and we want to start with some of these programs with, and if it expands, it expands, but we really start with the neighbors that we appreciate.
It looks a little over-inclusive to go up past Amateur Works.
Yeah. Does it go that far? So it goes
Wow.
too far. Okay, yeah. All right, maybe there's a way to hyper localize the area.
Right.
But
Okay.
not the end of the world if we go bigger.
So Roger, really compliment. You guys do a great job in a lot of aspects, but the one that's really noticeable, even if you're not a member, but I am, is just how you take care of the property around you and the landscaping. And I'm assuming, I don't know if you got a horticulturist, that's not, okay. You do great. And, this is really taking Andy's speech, but what Tony and what Andy probably heard from us in the past, there's an interest within this group here to elevate the channel district to become a beautification of our community. And you've set a great example for that, and hopefully we can coattail off of that to carry it in. I know you guys, even the parking, I know you had to give up parking and all that with the membership, but yeah, I know you guys also take care of that parking area there, and I'm assuming that isn't necessarily your responsibility, but you've done a great job to do that, and it is appreciated. So thank you. And I think the idea of it's a 910 channel side or the RV lot that you're offering to potentially have maybe some of your people there, once we figured out what the game plan is there, to figure out how we could improve that would be great.
Yeah.
The only other question I have is, if it's pretty early on, what kind of feedback did you give by giving up parking for the annual membership members at the lots?
So
was there much feedback or?
Yeah, it's a great question. Overall, it's not an issue overall. I mean, we definitely have some of the folks who that was a really good perk, right? That parking was part of a membership.
But it was being taken advantage of too.
Yes.
Well, they're
People are
definitely.
using it for hockey games,
Yeah.
because I heard from friends of mine,
Oh, yeah.
it was the best deal in the world. You don't park there and become a member, And that was your hockey parking.
Well, so to Andy's point, again, I think that overall, we've not seen a dramatic drop off of renewals, knowing that parking was not part of it. But to your point, when we started looking into it a little bit, because we can run like, when have you visited? And we had members who like, they've been a member for 10 years and they've never stepped foot in the building, And so we started realizing some of that. But I'll also say this, that especially the folks who are buying, so our membership sales are still really strong. The folks who are buying the membership understand, right, the newer members, that they don't have parking with it. That is something that we're messaging a little more, and I'm sure you all are as well, that about 2 years ago, we started pivoting to, we are, we're an urban, aquarium, right? Urban cultural attraction. And we have to model ourselves after places, like, the Art Institute downtown Chicago, or Shed, where I came from, right? Or, Central Park Zoo. And how do you now get to your members and guests ahead of time so they are prepared for it? And so, they understand it a little bit more. I would also say that we're trying to talk with various folks about how maybe there's a way to bring that back in a different capacity. So there are parking spots around the neighborhood that we've talked to, and for instance, some of the urban places have, it's a membership plus out parking, and you just work out a deal with one of your apps and do whatever, and it becomes part of that, so that we can take advantage of lots or street parking or others that you can reserve your stuff ahead of time. So we'll still work on it because we know it's important, but so far membership sales have held. There definitely are some squeaky wheels between that, and you can imagine a few other things that maybe have gone away, but our goal is to make sure that everything we do, makes you forget about those either past legacy pieces or the inconveniences that may be at play. Parking in the long term, not members related long term, I know you guys are all paying attention to that as well, and you may feel the crunch is becoming, a little bit more of an issue, right, in the district, I think. For people who are coming down regularly, and can we find, affordable as well as just access to parking. So we're trying to figure that, maybe because I got here in 2017, June of 2017, we were 800,000 visitors. Last couple of years, as I mentioned, and the team has mentioned, I'm sure before, we're at 1 million visitors. There's no real public transportation infrastructure. So I'm going to use simple South Side Chicago math. Sorry, the average party is 4 people. We just went up 200,000 visitors a year. That's 50,000 more cars that we just put into the district. Just us, right? So we know that it's a positive net event, and especially for us. They're 9 to 5ers typically, right, at the end of the day. But it's becoming an issue, and I'm sure your other businesses and residents, you're probably feeling it a little bit too. So,
do you have any idea what percentage of your visits come from the downtown area? If you were to could you pull the 33602 zip code?
I can't. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I can. No, I would absolutely let you know. What that is. Yeah, we'll make sure for the next meeting, we get you that information. Yeah, we're probably, just in the overall general, we are probably 40%, from the Tampa region. There's another probably 30% that is, believe it or not, statewide. We get a lot from Miami, we get a lot from Orlando and Jacksonville, and then that last, if my math is right, 30% or so is, kind of national, international. So, but that's a little update from us. I don't know what my folks have done before, but either talk too long or too little.
No.
Yeah, is there anything else?
We love the member mornings.
This cheer diver.
Oh.
Yeah, they were Easter divers. They were dressed up in
Oh,
the
that's
suit.
great. Yeah.
They did the Grinch for around the
Oh.
holidays, which was fun. The member mornings alone, I feel like are worth it for families. And I know a friend of mine told me that was the #1 thing she recommended for my baby registry. And so I recommend it to everyone too. And so even just promoting it as a baby registry item.
Wow, that's a
Those were
great
divers.
idea.
Yeah.
Can you dive your aquarium?
Wow. Wow.
Can I dive?
I mean, can people?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know Epcot, that was.
$150.
Yeah.
We go
Yeah.
for
We have a program. We will, well, yes.
20 minutes.
There are ways to
Just
dive. We also have a program, it's a new program called C-Track where you put
It's
the
hot,
helmet
it's too hot
on.
to walk
Oh, okay.
around the
You get a
block,
chance
we
to go on
walk
the
around the
water.
ground.
Yeah, we did Epcot years ago. You could only take your mask for bacterial purposes, and they had everything else.
And anyone
Everything else
can
for
drive
you,
around
yeah,
it.
yeah. No, it's,
Roger, that's a great idea, what she said about registry
yes, that's awesome. I didn't
of,
realize, I
a
love
baby.
that.
I mean, wow, can you imagine, I mean, what better thing can you know what I'm saying? Versus giving something material, something like that that makes memories? Y'all need to jump on that
No, absolutely.
and get with some of these wet,
Because it's super easy to purchase like the memberships on the website, but sometimes just that marketing of like, buy it for your daughter or your
That's
son-in-law,
smart.
for as a baby which she had them, or like linking it to like baby list or something, like.
yeah,
Just
Roger,
making it
great
that,
idea.
she's onto something there.
I agree. You know, it's, we're still at Tampa Bay Times, still rate us as, you know, one of the top 3 wedding locations, but the registry piece is I like that part too, so.
Right.
Yeah, anything we can do for all of you, anything we can do?
No. Just keep Chide Talks. They're awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, thank you.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
a great function. I know you need sponsors, and so hopefully, I know Wells Fargo, unfortunately, they did a great job over the years. Hopefully you can find a replacement
Yeah,
to that.
that's our goal. That's our goal is always to, you know, just again, provide the best programming, the best experience, find those who believe in us, who invest in us. I mean, that's always important, and, you know, I think we'll take it. If you know anybody, let us know.
Mhm.
But if there's anything we can do, again, for all of you, I know, like I say, the parking or the green space that you bought, I mean, that's one I know we'll try to have some more conversations about, where we can, you know, also be part of the development and give back to the community, you know, as well, so.
Thank you.
Thanks.
If you ever want to have one of these meetings over there, you know, let me know too, so,
Mhm.
or tell me, you know, or, you know,
Appreciate it. With the penguins.
Right.
What's that?
With the penguins.
We'll bring them in. Well, absolutely. There you go.
Hey.
Well, we're happy. We got a couple more animals coming online too, so you never
Penguins
know.
are there, we may have more public comments, we may have people want to come.
Oh, is that what you Make that your like holiday event when everyone's feeling really good about something, right? Not like
We'll
a
full
controversial
crowd.
one, hand me the penguin, like, or we can diffuse the situation. We'll bring in a sloth, right, or something. That's awesome.
Roger, thank you. And
No
again,
problem.
being such a great neighbor, you're our, you know, performing arts, you're our convention center, you are our culture for Channelside, and we couldn't have a better neighbor, and it starts from the top, which is you.
Appreciate that
Thank
very
you.
much, so, yeah, anything we can do, thank you for the great feedback. Keep it coming, by the way, just keep making us better, you know, at the end of the day, the various ideas.
follow up on
Everybody,
that.
absolutely, and you all probably have good ideas, let me know.
Great.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you,
Thanks.
Thank you.
and come over and check out that garden.
Yeah.
Do you have those in stock this time of year?
What's that?
Shirts, you have those. What you wearing? Or is it
I do
winter time?
not, it's actually a personal, it's actually one of those ones where I ordered.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
If you're interested, I can,
I
I can let the store know about them, or I can, we can put an order in at some point,
was
but
gonna say,
yeah.
yeah, I'd purchase one of those.
I get asked that all the time, I'll talk to our stores. But yeah, no, I just,
Right, I like it.
I kind of
You're like, sorry, I'm an
myself.
influencer,
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Well, I'm sure we can figure it all out, trust me.
Well, Roger,
Like, try to
follow up
figure
on
out
that registry, like she said.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
No, I agree. Yeah, we gotta hit the right markets and make sure that that's how.
Yeah, man, I like that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right,
Yeah.
have a
Thank
great
you,
evening.
brother. Have a
Well.
nice evening. Okay, fantastic. Okay, we'll go straight into manager's report.
Okay, so good news is have received one written report of the 2 appraisals that were requested. And the second written report is to be received to the real estate department by this Friday. So, so the appraisals are still coming in. But I just did want us to, you know, we did order the appraisals, but I just wanted to make sure that, and clarify that another group said to go 4.5 million on the property. I just want to make sure, are you directing real estate department to immediately draft a $4.5 million contract or go up to $4.5 million?
But don't you need to look at the appraisals first? I mean,
Say it again, repeat the question.
I just wanted clarification on the motion from the CAC. Is the CAC directing real estate or requesting to direct real estate to immediately do a $4.5 million contract or up to $4.5 million?
Up to, when you, I still don't understand what you're up to when you say.
Because I guess you're locking in at 4.5
Well,
regardless.
I'm going to go back to the comment there. We're awaiting appraisal.
Yeah.
I would wait for the appraisal. And then the appraisal doesn't mean
Right.
that's the number. I
Right.
mean, we can negotiate on the appraisal if we need to, but we can base a number on the appraisal with it in-house.
There's what I call assemblage value, and the appraisal's not gonna encumber that, okay? And whenever you're buying a budding property, 1 and 1 doesn't equal 2. You
Right.
heard me say that, it equals 3. The motion we had made 3 months ago was that we approved the 4.5.
Mhm.
Am I correct in saying?
I don't remember, but yeah, if we did, that's,
And Courtney?
Well, and that's what I'm asking.
That's what we-
Do you want to see the appraisals or are they just doing a 4.5 contract immediately?
I think it'd be nice to see the appraisals.
I mean, does it hold how much does that hold it up to wait to see it?
I guess what is the pros and cons?
Yeah.
What, if we choose one direction, I guess what is that?
Well, the written report, the second written report's coming in on Friday, so there really is not a holdup. The real estate department would just review what the findings were of the appraisal. And then I don't know how that's delivered back to the CAC. If I do it, real estate comes to the June meeting, or how exactly, because I haven't been through this process before. So I have to find that out, but it wouldn't be like a delay because we already have the appraisals, which is the hard work. And the pro would be it's save the district money if you don't go immediately to the 4.5 and.
Well, that's what the seller, that's what he signed the contract for.
But that's not the city contract.
No, he signed an FA bar contract, Florida bar contract. So that's what he has signed.
all right, question. Who is the seller and who's the buyer?
Seller is A&D.
Okay.
Is it under his name or personal? Is it under his personal name or company name? Anyway, it's the A&D.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And the legal entity being the buyer, who is the legal entity? City of Tampa, okay, just want to make sure.
Funds would come from the CRA.
Gotcha.
Which we already have, already lined up.
So I guess it's up to, right? Because there could be a chance that you could purchase it for less.
I've never paid appraised value for anything I've bought. I mean, I know Tampa's a different animal, but I've always negotiated.
So, right, so that makes sense to be like up to then? We're not gonna lose it?
Well, wait, hold on a second, then let me back up. So, being new here, are we under contract?
They have, the seller signed a contract.
That's not the city's contract.
Yeah, but he signed a FAR bar contract.
Okay.
That's, customary
Right.
language for 4.5 million. He's asking more than that, but that was what he agreed to sell it to the city.
Okay.
And
Kind of like a modified letter of intent, if you will?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So, all right.
correct.
I'm just going to go back because over a couple of years, and I've attended these meetings before, and actually I believe you were the one that was bringing it to this group and discussing how the business world works versus how the city works. And I mean, I've always, and I agreed at that point, is that it seems odd that you would, okay, you want to buy a property, great, okay, how much are you willing to pay for it, this, without knowing.
Well, typically, it's subject to satisfactory appraisal.
Right.
What you would have in a
Yeah,
contract. That's always
so,
what we-
and then that number that you're willing to pay for, understand, within the city gets exposed to the seller, that you're willing to pay up to this amount of money before you even had a chance to know really what an appraised value of the property is. So it seems a little backwards not to get an appraisal to understand what you're dealing with. And I understand you need to put a number in there, Andy, but I think we need to really look at it. Maybe the number's going to come back at 4.7 million, I guess, appraised that. And we got an offer, and you said 4.5, if I heard it right, but at least you understand with what you're dealing with.
Actually, in the private sector, the way it's done is that we put things in a contract, we tie it up, and then we do our feasibility study after. We call that a free look period.
Okay.
Yeah.
by doing that. This way you don't go spending a lot of money and time and somebody just snakes you. And that has happened. There's a reason why we have less than 2% green area in the channel side district.
Yeah.
Urban Land Institute says that we should have 11. And it's because we do business slow, bureaucratic, and because of that, we haven't bought nothing. I mean, we bought one property 20 years ago in Washington, and we bought property from them, which is a really, it wasn't an arm's length deal, okay? That's all we bought. And since the CRA has been around, and we, I don't care about another building going up. If you ask me green area for families and people and it's a lot more valuable than another building going up and getting more tax base. And so let's get the appraisal. Doesn't hurt. Let's look at it.
Well, are we certain it doesn't hurt? That's the
Doesn't
question.
hurt. So let's do it. Let's get the appraisal.
Well, that's where I was going. This
Doesn't hurt.
This market is far different than what I'm used to. This is an anomaly. It's a very,
You got 4% land available in the city of Tampa.
Yeah.
That's what it's down to.
Yeah.
And every day, it's actually less and less and less. So, being the old days of the city of Tampa having cash and being a cash buyer, that leverage is gone. Everybody's a cash buyer, okay? I mean, and when you said, well, if you don't sell it, I'll go get the piece down the street. There's less than 4% land left in the city of Tampa. So, you got to change your ways of doing business if you want to acquire property.
Yeah.
But I think we should get the appraisal. Let's look at it. Doesn't hurt. And I would have to say they probably don't have any type of assemblage value in that. Okay. And then that's for us to make that
But then you can
choice.
justify. I mean, in case somebody's questioning me and say, well, you're spending 4.5.
Listen, I love everything transparent. Let's get the
Yeah.
appraisals.
Okay.
In the past, the city has not wanted to give the appraisals. For what reason? I don't understand, because I believe in transparency.
Yeah, right.
This is a number that you have, you should show why you have this number. Be transparent.
So in terms of timeline, we would look at that in the June meeting, we would do this vote in the.
But let me confirm with real estate, because
Okay.
that's the real estate, whatever the real estate department's process is. I don't know if they need to be negotiating with the buyer, the seller, and then they, we don't really get into the negotiation whatsoever.
Okay.
That is all with the real estate department and the seller.
Okay.
So we don't want to, intervene ourselves into something that the buyer and the seller need to work out an agreement, and then more information can be disclosed. But, so I got to learn more about what the process is, but just know that the appraisals are coming in. The last one will be in on Friday, and then we can take the next step.
I just want to make sure that because the process is so slow that we don't accidentally
It's-
make it a little slower.
Yeah, I don't think
Let's
so.
get the appraisals. Okay, let's get the appraisals. It doesn't hurt. And then it's up to us to say, okay, this is what we think it's worth.
So can you delay your question on doing the up to or the 4.5?
Yeah,
Until
Just
we get
provide
the
the
appraisal.
appraisals. Just provide the appraisals.
Well, yeah,
you could do a motion for up to, because the last one didn't say. Last one was kind of like, we're paying 4.5.
Right. I remember that. That's what the motion was, and it was unanimous.
But if the group wants to go up to 4.5 after reviewing the appraisal, you're not paying the 4.5, like your motion said, you can go up to the
But we can
4.5.
also go back and change it after the fact, right? Once we get the appraisal, we can always go back and say.
Okay,
Just
and I
not
just wanted
anything we have to do now.
clarification that I wasn't supposed to be
Yeah,
coming
why
real
not get
estate
the
right up
appraisal and then
$4.5 million
I mean,
contract.
up to 4.5, it gives us protection.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
up to 4.5. That's kind of
Can you
our,
make a motion?
that's kind of our max that we don't want to pay no more.
Yeah, I would appreciate it, just so it doesn't look like I didn't know what was, understand the first motion correctly. So if you don't mind motioning that up to,
Motion to do up to 4.5?
For the,
purchase deed, I'll put in that, purchase deed blank property.
Yeah, the A&D Automotive Center.
Second.
property.
Okay.
Right, because real estate's going to negotiate.
Yeah, it's all in real estate's hands at this point.
So really our 4.5 doesn't mean much, other than we're willing to pay
Yeah,
that.
Like
willing up to.
Yeah.
Up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not locking us in, it's just saying we're up to. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I have been talking with Parks on landscaping back and forth with Ken, the gentleman who had come to this meeting. He's going to be attending next month in June. So, so he has had the contractor, Nelson Tree Farms, put in the channel side landscaping enhancements just to, you know, kind of bring it back up to a nice standard. And then they're moving on to 12th Street next week. So the plant materials have already been ordered. They're coming in, and 12th Street will have plant materials installed next week. And then soon thereafter, they're going to be doing 11th Street.
Can you explain that a little bit more? So that if items are dead, not working, or are missing things, that's where they're going to work at replacing?
Yeah, wherever they did an assessment, a walk around, and wrote out an order list of what needed to be replaced. And then that's what they purchased, and that's what they're installing.
Okay.
And then they will maintain it, because normally CRA dollars, which I did provide a legal opinion in here, because you guys had asked for a legal opinion on the maintenance aspect. So I just received this yesterday, so I put it in the packet. You know, it gives a decent information up top about what CRA can and can't do in relation to parks, but then the last paragraph speaks specifically to maintenance.
Okay, so at the last meeting, I think it was in the minutes too, is that the question was, if the city can't provide us contracts of maintenance of property, then that property is under the responsibility of the city, curb to sidewalk to take place.
And then, so Ken also provided the ordinance. So just like in front of your house, in front of your house, you know, you would mow, say, here's your lawn, here's the sidewalk, and then here's that other piece of grass to the street.
Okay.
We would mow that as homeowners.
Right.
And that's how this ordinance reads. Is
Okay.
the property owner, from the curb to their property line, they're responsible for the maintenance of their immediate front area. But if the city planted it, the city will maintain it.
Okay. So we have a situation, because we've had the group attend in the past year, and there's more people that want to attend, is that, and the gentleman that came, I can't remember, from Park and Rec again. Kenny, yeah. Ended up saying, when you talk about the green carpeting that does exist both on 11th and 12th Street in our community, the city would never put in. I can tell you, I know specifically the 12th Street, have not talked to people on 11th Street, that if they were given the option to keep that in or have plants put in, they would prefer to have plants put in, because again, Ken was saying, it's not very sanitary to have the green carpeting there. So I know the party on 12th Street is willing to pull, if they have to, unless the city will do it, pull that green carpeting up and then have the city end up putting in the proper landscaping that goes in there. So if that's what needed, those people will do that. They will pull up the carpeting, but then the city needs to come and give what they should have had before.
Is there a contact or
Yeah, I agree.
person? Yeah, if you could send that to me.
Yeah.
And then I could see if, you know, there could be something
Because
worked
I
out.
don't have the one for 11th Street, and it's 11th between Washington and Kennedy, but they have it too. They've got the green carpeting on. I'm assuming it was put in based on frustration of the city not taking care of the property, so they threw something in there to take care of it. And it obviously, as even Park and Rec says, it's not a very sanitary thing to end up having that there. And again, straight across from a dog park, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'll get you the information and a contact on, but yeah, but again, I know these people are willing to pull that up
Okay.
if that was in there, but they want something to take care of. Also, in their walkthrough, I don't know if they happen to look around at lighting throughout the community. If you get on 12th Street, it's very interesting. We have multiple pole lamps next to each other. Okay, so it's either somehow one pole lamp, however that got there, and now the city put in a separate pole lamp right next to it. And obviously, somebody should be looking and monitoring that. A pole lamp, a regular lamp
Yeah.
overlook the street?
But that wouldn't be parks. so
It wouldn't be
mobility.
parks, but again, somebody should be monitoring. It's part of our look and taking care of what our community
Yeah.
is.
And those requests,
I can put it again,
Yeah,
back in
those-
through that, but I've done it before and it just seems to go on a dead end. You know, where, yeah, they're just, I mean, it
it
just,
should be mobility or Tico.
but you understand what I'm saying, is that you have light pole, one light pole, and then less than a foot away, another light pole right next to it. It doesn't make any sense why you would have that.
Yeah, yeah, I know there's a lady within the city that monitors and works closely with Tico.
I'm scared
Um,
we're gonna get flooded to put on.
Maybe if you send me
I'll
an
do-
email, then I
I'll do
can,
the pictures and all that kind
and
of
then I
stuff
can
and
put
show
it
you what it
directly
is.
to
But
the
it,
lady.
I guess we just want some real love in our community, somebody to help take care of our, area looks like, and it's not, it
Yeah, I can
truly is not.
triage, just, you know, and see if I can get some answers.
Yeah, okay.
Talked about that out
So I'll
there.
get you both things. I'll get you on the light poles, which is a separate topic I've never brought up before, but I just noticed it myself. And then the second thing will be getting you the contacts relative to specifically 12th Street. I'll probably see if I can find somebody from 11th Street to work
Okay.
for you.
That looks so nice.
Right?
Every time I walk by there, I'm like,
Yeah.
It is. I mean, the odor, I don't understand how some of those people live there. The stench is extremely bad. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll look for those from you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then also in here, in the packet, I added, I know we've talked about replacement and repair of existing right-of-way amenities like the benches, trash can, bike racks, pet waste stations. So anything that is currently, you know, like I told you, was the mobility department's, is the owner of, mobility department is the owner of those amenities and provides the repair and replacement. So I just thought I'd put this here for a handy little sheet for you all, that if you want to call in anything that you see, there's the phone number or there is a website that you actually go to report anything. These amenities pictured here are what are approved for the Channel District. And as Kim is working on the phasing of the project, the infrastructure project, this is what they have ordered and are installing in those phases. So, you know, we still have two phases, Whiting and 12th to be completed, north of Twigs. And so you'll start to see more and more of these amenities installed as the phases. So you know, Twigs is finishing up, so that will be completed. But
Does anybody else have a comment about the trash bin? And, because the comments I'm hearing is during the hurricane, there was like a Frisbee on the top that kept flying off. It is not a secure type of thing there. And I ended up saying a note to her that basically we do have about 3 different versions of trash recycles within the Channel District. And this is good. I guess this is the designated one for the district versus the other. But it is one that has created not functional to be a secure item in the past. And I mean, obviously, I know close to where Brett has this place. I mean, it's sitting out there without a bin on the cover for years.
What is the partnerships
Right, Brett? Yeah.
piece in this? Because I know the partnership picked these cans out a long time ago. Sean told me as much. And they maintain them as far as empty them and everything else.
I thought Rachel said last time she was here that
I thought they were looking at you.
that they don't maintain them. I think
just
if they
keep
notice
them.
something dramatically wrong, they'll like touch it a little bit, but I'm pretty sure she mentioned that they don't maintain the trash cans. We asked them. I think they just put the branding stickers on them.
yeah,
I thought
And then they
moved them around.
and then they added the dog bags.
So if we need another can somewhere, we need to get in touch with someone, because I know exactly where a can needs to go.
Yeah, over by
That they
me.
used to have. and
yeah.
They removed it because they put it too close to the curb, and people kept backing into it as they were parking and destroyed the can.
Yeah. And that's where you can report it here.
Okay,
And it should be directed to mobility.
okay, I'll do that, that's fine.
So only these cans though. Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you see one
So
that's
they-
not like that, then it could be some
It could be a
random old
property
one
or it could be.
yeah.
Because I know the ones on Meridian
On
that are over by
Meridian, yeah,
Pier
those
House, those get kicked every weekend. They get really full, and then I don't know what drunk kids every weekend kick them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They just look so sad. And then they get perked up, and
okay.
so there must be Pier House must maintain those.
Well, at least we know what we're supposed to have.
Yeah.
Just see if it gets
Yeah,
maintained.
so I wanted to,
That's good to know. Any ones that don't look like this, they
Right.
must be the property owners.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for continuity, this is what you should see in the channel district now and as we move ahead to the final 2 phases of the infrastructure work by Himmons.
Yeah, because you're right, there's like 4 different types of trash cans. So there's the ones over by 11 that are like the black stripy ones that have like a little bit more obscure top. I know the partnership has put some of their brand.
A lot of us would think it's a minor thing, and to some degree it is, but there should be consistency throughout the community, so.
Well, they should be in better repair. Some of them.
Rusted over and broken and.
Yeah.
And like I say, some have been just beaten to death.
Good to have the contact. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Some been like eroded.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for the budget, we did look at the budget last month.
I'm gonna, Courtney, I'll tell you what, let me, this opinion, because we kind of just brushed over that on this legal opinion. You know, depending on how you ask the questions, how you get a legal opinion back. And this says whether it can spend funds on parks and community landscaping, including maintenance for upkeeping, depending on such activities, meet the following. If that's the question, our question was, is if we have a baseline, and we know that the city's responsible for that baseline, but we want to go over and above that baseline to create a Walt Disney World look. Can we spend that money? The way this is, I mean, we knew the answer to this, is that general maintenance can't be paid out of CRA.
Well, that was my question. I did ask if we did enhanced maintenance,
Okay, that's not,
can maintenance be done to that enhanced?
that's not the question here.
Yeah, so I just got this yesterday. I wanted to show that I provided what I received back to the question that was asked, but I can go back and say, okay, that's.
Yeah, but that wasn't the question. The question was, if you
Yeah,
have a
I provided.
baseline, we already knew, baseline, city of Tampa has to pay for it out of the general revenue. This is, this is worthless. Because we already knew this. We want to say anything above baseline, can we spend the money on? And I'm sure that was part of the CIP because, I mean, we want to enhance things, not just have them at a level of baseline. I know.
Yeah, right, I agree.
Was that not the way we want, we wanted the opinion?
Right. You are correct. At least that's my interpretation.
Yeah, but when you read this,
Yeah.
and you read you say, okay, well, it's how you ask the questions is based on the answer here. No baseline, no enhancement.
And I can send to you, Andy, the question that I did send the response for, and that's what I asked, but if you want to.
No, you don't have
If you
to.
want to clarify, but I know I'm asking if you want to clarify, make it stronger, so that we're getting the actual.
Well, just say that we pushed back and said that wasn't that wasn't the question we asked. And no, you don't need to say, I trust you.
In the first bullet, would other public improvements be that general blanket that the above and beyond can kind of fit under? To your point, legal language sometimes has to be broad for a reason too.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if that could be can our above and beyond fall under other public improvements? Which it does say that eligible CRA activities include.
Yeah, she said, with respect to maintenance costs, strictly prohibit CRA funds on general government operating expenses unrelated to the planning, carrying out. Well, this is ongoing or routine maintenance costs should be considered a general. We're not asking for routine. We want to step above that. And that's the issue. So I mean, she misread your question.
I just think we only speak about it in enhancement. There is no maintaining.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
It makes sense
Yeah.
that Parks and Rec maintain.
I agree with what you're saying there.
we won't be here forever, so we need eventually someone
Yeah.
to maintain, and that would be Parks and Rec. But I think, right, that's kind of the above and beyond public improvement, if you will.
Yeah, and I did look at the CRP, the CRA plan for the district, and the only reference to landscaping, it was that there is a lack of it, and that was in '04, so 20 years ago. So it doesn't speak specifically, so that's just another little hurdle, is in the CRP, it doesn't specifically state the Channel District needs enhanced landscaping.
But it says lack.
From 2004, yep, it did say a lack of, so.
Lack of tells you that you need more.
We need to enhance it.
Yeah, I mean, that, I mean, I can tell you, she misunderstood your question.
Mhm.
I mean, we knew this. I mean, you're the big landscape guy.
Sure. Yeah. I'm trying to read through the community redevelopment goals. I did read the master copy. Courtney, before the meeting today, she gave me the abridged version, we'll call it. But I can tell you, it covered a couple things, which was saving us for debating how we want to approach the meeting with Gwen next month, was it does state that we are supposed to have targeting 5 acres of land specifically for park in the district. And the city council all signed off on that back last year. Yeah, I'm trying to find it in the abridged thing, but it is in the master document that's what was supposed to happen. Yeah. No, I mean, so that was, I fear we'll get to that, talking about the next meeting. How do we want this approach with Gwen to go? And I definitely think it's, when we talk parks and rec and our landscaping and all that, it'd be probably one of the topics that we wouldn't mind her addressing or making her aware of what's here. But it did state, yeah, here it is. Opportunities, this comes in their goal under number 2, and it states expedite opportunities to create large, greater than 5 acres park and expanded public access to the waterfront is in one of their points. I mean, so they're talking about, I mean, we're again, respectful to what we're trying to purchase, but these are postage stamp type of lots. We're really, there should be, by the city, trying to find a way to get us 5 acres of land.
But it's really not, because we're adding to something that's already there.
But,
I mean, if it was a piece that just was in its own little island,
yeah.
then, but if we're adding, if we're assembling to other land that we own.
What you're doing,
Yeah.
it's fine,
Yeah.
but I still think we should be buying, there should be
I'm
something
for
out
buying
there.
as much as we can buy.
And the city should be working to get that
We will look
done.
like the smartest people 10 years from now. When there's other people here at this table, they'll go, those guys were the smartest guys in the world to buy as much dirt as they could.
Yeah. You know, I get
Or 20
defeated
years.
on this one in the past, and I've done it over the last couple of years. I still think the viable property, and I know there's probably plans behind the scenes that it's out there, is still on east of Channel side between York and Cumberland, which is city-owned parking area that potentially could be turned into a park. And that would probably accomplish multiple acres to make us more competitive to the east, to the west side of
Would you have
downtown.
to cross Channel side?
You would have to cross Channel
You would
side,
have to
but
cross.
again, you're dealing with, you have to cross, to get to Curtis Hickson, you gotta cross, was it Ashley, okay, to end up getting there. But you've got Julian B. Lane on the west, you've got Curtis Hickson on the west, you got Perry Harvey in the center of it. We have absolutely nothing of comparable type of thing. They even talk about in here, you're supposed to be promoting activities, events like concerts and that type of thing within the Channel District. And there's no way currently that can be done.
The issue is, you know, the port doesn't sell their property.
Right.
They did us a favor. They're land lease, you know, or business.
We're a landlord port.
Yeah.
As opposed to an operating port.
Yeah.
Again, maybe I'm pushing the wrong thing, but I think city council signed this, and this is what their mission
I'm
is.
all for it.
And
We need to look at everything.
Yeah.
To create green.
to hold their hands to try and come up and push forward, to come up with a creative way. It's, I know the port doesn't sell, but talk to the port, talk to wherever to try and get the property to accommodate. Because we're missing that void within the Channel District someplace. I mean, again, I'm glad we're going to move forward and buy what we have at Madison Street, but I still look at Madison Street being a playground, not a park. And we need something like, Madison Street Park.
Oh, the
Well,
A&D, it's near there.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it is. It's going to be connected.
I'm sorry.
It is. It's going to be connected, but it is
I
a
got you.
playground. I mean, really is what it is. I mean, you're not going to have wildlife for that area. I don't know if you want to promote it. We should have something, and that's the reason we're complimenting Roger. They've done a beautiful job over at, by the aquarium to try and create a natural environment there. We should have more of that within the potential 5 acres that the city should be looking to find for us. And maybe I'm old and I just cranky.
No, you're not. I mean, I was surprised coming down here, as how much has happened down here. There was a total lack of green space and planning here.
I mean.
I feel sorry for
Urban
families.
Land
I mean, I
Institute
just
says
don't
we
know where
should
you
have
take your kids to really go.
11% of 200, I think we have 200, we have 221 acres based on memory, on the channel side. 11% be 22 acres. We had, the parcel we bought from y'all, which was, how much was that? 30,000 square feet of dirt?
Yeah, I think it was less than an acre.
3/4 of an acre. And then Bob McDormick and I did the piece on Washington, and that was half acre. That is all we,
Yeah.
that's it. Now we got families here, they got kids. I mean, back then it was a place, that you had single people here. Now you got families, it's changed. And we just don't have enough green area. And we're gonna, once those buildings go up, we're gonna regret it forever.
Well, welcome the opportunity that we will have on June 4th, at least raise it to the person that oversees Park and Rec, to Gwen. I think Tony reports to her, if I got it right. Am I correct on that? Yeah, Tony Mulkey reports to Gwen, right?
Push the mayor.
Yeah.
Mayor, okay. But Gwen supposedly has some influence over that.
Their budget and zoning, land use, is the role of the city council, really not
Okay,
answering,
Yeah, he should,
answering directly to staff.
yeah, he would report to a staff member,
okay.
an administrator.
Because we have a strong form of government, mayor, form of government, the
Okay.
city of Tampa.
Okay.
All right, so if we're moving on to the budget, draft budget.
Yeah. So you're gonna ask that
Yeah.
amended legal based on what you asked previously.
So everyone seemed to feel pretty comfortable with the direction the budget was going last meeting. The recommendation to help offset that deficit was to move neighborhood infrastructure monies, because I had mentioned that money is really just are sitting there for opportunities that may arise. But after the discussion from the last meeting, it was suggested that I move the neighborhood infrastructure monies to elsewhere to help balance the budget. So, what the numbers that I'm putting in the fiscal year 26 budget would drop if I move the neighborhood infrastructure monies in somewhere else in the fiscal year 25 budget. So I plan to do that.
So the 30% of affordable housing, that number is 799?
The unit creation and conversion.
The 3.4 is the 30% of the 11 million. Which is a requirement, so I immediately plug that.
Yeah, those are restricted funds, what I call restricted funds. So where is acquisition of properties in here?
land acquisition or?
Yeah, land acquisition.
Yeah, I didn't touch that because I knew that was important to the group.
Where's
It
that at?
is,
Next page.
and yeah, third line down, 8 million. So I've yet to touch that.
Okay, thank you.
So that's why I was taking neighborhood infrastructure, because it really wasn't assigned to anything in particular, which brought the deficit down to only 737,000 that I showed last month. And I just put a note there, preliminary tax information should help offset the deficit, because remember we were talking about any COs and Ken was talking about.
Ken sent me an email after the meeting and there's 2 places coming up.
Yeah,
2 or 3.
so I'm hopeful that, the budget's going to be balanced just fine once we receive those preliminary numbers from the property appraiser's office. So I think we're in an okay place.
So they're required 30% for affordable housing. Is there a game plan that the city of Tampa is?
What's these new programs? So it had been kind of rolling over, but then now B Parks is managing the down payment assistance program, unit creation and conversion, strategic acquisitions. So these are the approved plans now to spend that 30% of the funding that's been set aside. So B Park manages that with 2 other staff people. So that money now is finally going out.
Good, okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to see just bookmarked and rolled over.
Yeah. So it was just a little ahead of the game, and now the programs are approved in place and a person hired to do those programs for the CRA. So I think the budget's okay. I'll show it to you again next month because I just don't still have the preliminary numbers, but I think we're okay.
Just, to remind everybody, we're in 2025, 34. This goes away. And whatever money's there, some goes back to the county and then goes back to general revenue fund. So there's a short fuse we have here to make things happen. The way the city does things, concern.
Spending spree.
I beg your pardon.
Got to go on a spending spree.
Mm-hmm. And
This is no longer a marathon. This is a sprint.
so I'll provide another, some more information at the June meeting. It really is probably due in May, this draft budget, but we don't even have the preliminary numbers. Okay. Security cameras update. I reached out to the detective and Captain College, and they don't have a change. They had told me April, May, which April's passed, but we're still in May. So they did not change anything to the anticipated security camera installation. So I just got an email from College yesterday. So Rapid something was out in the field yesterday this week. So there's movement, and we're still in the May timeframe expectation of installation of those. And then capital project update and commercial grants update. Those are in your packet for your review. And that's all I have.
The beneficial project, did that,
It's still under with the consultant, Jacobs. They're still going to present to the CAC. So that's going to be, it should be June. It should be June. But, they're still working with SwiftMed, that SwiftMed easement. So I told them not to rush, if it's better for them to present because we don't have a July meeting, if they want to present, get it better buttoned up to present to the CAC. August is fine, but if they're prepared to present in June, they can present in June to go through it. But it is moving along. They're pretty much wrapping up. And that's all I have.
Right. Okay, new business.
Where's the boundaries? Is the Aura where that new hotel, condo, helipad, luxury, whatever, is that in Channel District?
no,
that's considered the.
It's not.
Down.
Meridian is the cutoff point. So, but great question.
I've got, I know that, my apologies for missing the last meeting, and I know that, what was it, Ken came up and said something about the stormwater issue on the channel side. Courtney, we need to have the city, request the city do something strenuous about finding out where our pipes are going underneath us, because that rain event in September that he mentioned scares me to death. Because, I mean, we took on 4 feet of water in our garage in the towers. Your house flooded.
Mine flooded.
Flooded through. These are things that have never happened, and maybe it is a once in an 80-year
All of us
event.
remember that day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like a lot of this could potentially be caused by all the buildup over at Water Street. And if you are walking down Meridian now, you're looking uphill at sloped roads coming down that are just going to be dumping water into Meridian, into the port. You guys flooded over there. I think you lost power and everything else. But they need to do some, because I put in a request to the city for them to look at the pipes prior to the hurricane, and they answered it in a couple of weeks saying, oh yeah, we looked at it, blah, 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 and they're clear. Well, they were doing some construction on Meridian, actually for Aura, I think, and what they were doing was some type of water return, but they tore up the street. They basically went across Meridian, drilled all the way across, and we're doing something. And I thought, so I just speaking to the guy, the foreman there, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? And he told me, and I said, oh, I was worried that, or I was hoping you guys were doing something with drainage. He goes, no, but you know, we've seen this and this stuff is blocked all over the place. So I'm getting from the city that it's being cleared and it's everything else. I'm getting from some other Joe Blow that with Kimmons, I think, saying, oh yeah, we're saying that it's blocked. And we just, you know, we're putting out all this mulch, which was a huge issue with these storms because they blocked the drains. And we got all new mulch out now, which is pretty, but you know, you had the building just 2 days ago, the condominium tower,
St.
that,
Pete.
you know, in St. Pete, that had the structural issues, which of course were probably due to the storm and water. And I mean, we had water coming up from underneath the floors. We're probably going to be $2 million in debt. And I know that Grand Central said they spent about $2 million because of that storm. And, you know, I live pretty high up, not close enough to get down quick enough before that building falls. And I think we really need to push the city, not just, you know, your general workers, but some engineers need to take a look at what the flow of all this water, the storm water is in Channel Side as a whole. Because we are getting absolutely, I mean, we'll see, rainy season's getting ready to start, but we had 3 storms and the worst one was the rainstorm. Yeah. And then the second one was Helene, and then Milton, of course, was just a windstorm for us in this area. But I've seen hurricanes come through here before that dumped a lot of water, and it was in different areas. And it was like, we flooded on the south side of the towers in that road, which we always do, because I don't know why the city chose to put a drain above the towers on the opposite side of the street that collects nothing. But never have I seen it come from all directions. And that's what it did at that time, and it happened really quick. So if we have another hurricane that is going to sit on top of us and dump rain again, I feel that it could do some serious damage to all of Channel Side, but especially the low areas that have been caused by the buildup of Water Street. So I would like the city to take a serious look and see if there's any blocks, any pipes that have been missing.
That don't need a drain?
Undersized.
Capped.
And, you know, anything that can help, because with all that concrete that's going on in Water Street, the buildup, we're going to have a disaster. So I'll be the first guy lining up trying to sue the city if they don't do something. So that was a very scary day.
No, it was quick, like 8 minutes.
It was,
Yeah, all the way through.
I've never seen anything like it. We have mulch in our elevators. I mean, you know, the elevators didn't have time to react and raise. it came through so quick.
We walked across the street to Union 3 and the water was at over my ankles.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was as high until I read the meeting notes from last time at Grand Central and all of that. I thought it was further down, but you just see the water rushing past that retention pond that's on the Water Street area. It wasn't getting anything. Everything was coming by it. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, since then, they built it up a little bit more. And all of these roads are like ramps coming down the Meridian. But anyway, I would like them to do more than just kick the can down the road on that particular issue.
So how does that get addressed?
I have to continue the conversation with stormwater.
The fellow just resigned today,
Well, yeah, for mobility. Yeah.
mobility.
Yeah, so I had to, Alex Awad is completely aware of all this, so.
I guess being aware is one thing, but what do they do?
No, I know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're doing something already, and hopefully
Yeah.
that's the case, but, I would just,
Yeah,
we're, next month is the start of
I know,
hurricane
I
season.
know.
And of course, rainy season comes right along with that, and this is not something we can just, it's not like the cameras, where we can just keep putting it off, keep putting it off. This is something that we may or may not get a storm this year, but.
Right.
So with Councilwoman coming next
Yep.
month, do we want to kind of prep our priorities of
Yeah.
what we want to talk to her about?
That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, and you can talk about that now, and also if you'd like to send me any email information, because I can send it to the aide, to her aide, Darlene Johnson, so that she's prepared, to be aware of the questions that she might be asked of her. So, but if you wanted to provide any highlights now, and then also follow up in an email to me, so that I can make sure she feels prepared and doesn't feel like
Yeah.
she comes, not with the right information.
We had a brief conversation before the meeting. I'm looking to probably do from a landscaping and that to go around and do a couple PowerPoint pictures and showing areas of concern and that throughout the community. So if anybody else wants to do something like that, and probably include it in the packet. I also, in my opinion, what we were just talking about here, city commitment to the community is raise specific topics out of that if she can address. And again, I'm sure we're not on a witch hunt, just looking for explanation of positioning and what can be done to enhance and that.
Being new, I'm not sure, but I'm just hoping she can help us expedite
Yeah.
things that are major issues.
Yeah. I mean.
Is there other things that people think we need to be, I think what you're covering, just got done covering, is an important.
Yeah, I would just, say that's very important to us, definitely ask her, if they've heard anything, from stormwater on this particular issue. Would love to.
Yeah, you may want to request a GPR in certain of the areas around here. Based on what, a GPR, ground penetrating radar, yeah, based on what Ken just said last month.
Well, yeah,
So,
that was a major mistake.
Yeah, that was
someone
huge.
made.
Yeah.
And the fact that it
I
took
don't
a
know if
private
that-
company to figure that out.
And I don't know if that contributes to us or not, from our perspective, but probably, and probably, if water
Who
can't
is
go
to
one
say it
place.
only
it's gotta go
happened
somewhere
one
else.
place?
Yeah, I know.
We got flooding over here.
I mean, yeah. No, it's,
Someone forgot to do half
On
of a
your
pipe.
tax bill, there's 2 line items. And those line items, one is stormwater maintenance and stormwater capital. And it's a huge part of your bill.
Yeah.
So I understand there's a funding source there in place.
no, I know, I just want there to be a work order in place to get it done.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it was like, 50 years until they figured that out, and they found out last year or this year. Like, I don't know, I'm still thinking about that.
Yeah,
That was wild.
I wasn't here, but yeah, what if they left the same thing off of Meridian and that's what's
They
causing it?
didn't hire, was it
Courtney,
Antec or whatever to figure that out.
Courtney, I feel comfortable. what you said prior to the meeting about how you think Gwen will handle it. I think, in my opinion, it's worthwhile.
Yeah, I think she'll end up, she is usually a story. She's been here, I think all of her life. And so she always usually has a story per district. So she'll provide an introduction of herself, her background, and, what she does on behalf of the city. And then usually she's a very likable, bubbly personality, but, she'll, I'm sure, kick it off and then say, well, what do you want? What do you want from me now? So she's very inviting and a great personality. So I think it'll be a comfortable meeting.
What about community attendance and involvement in the meeting? Is there, how,
Yeah, and I don't know how much time she has. She's usually running from one thing to the next. It's just, so I'll tell her.
This is not a city council meeting either, so we should probably not inundate her with, we should set it up where she's answering our questions first. If she's got time to do the rest, that's one thing, but.
Yeah, and it's really not a town hall meeting.
Right.
This is a specific CRA meeting with you, not to invite like a town hall group, Other people are welcome to listen, but it's really a discussion with CAC members.
So I'm hearing 3 main areas of concern to discuss: the water drainage, the landscaping areas of concern, and the commitment to green space.
And I would also say noise.
One more time?
Noise. From whether it be, I know that they've got a noise ordinance, but that is still, that 602 is still an issue. I don't know how they had the most opposition ever, but they still got passed to build that so-called restaurant, which is probably going to be a club. And but not only that, but we get so much noise from just vehicles coming through here, and what's being, and this is all things that really kept college.
Like the phones, Zambonis.
Yeah, and these bikers and all this.
Like, what's the solution to the car and motor thing though? Because I know when we had the police chief over and we asked him, he's like, they just cruise so fast and their engines are horrible, but then they're gone and they come back later.
Yeah.
Well, it's just more of having a bigger presence.
Yeah.
And I've actually probably seen more presences of late, but we need cars sitting on Meridian.
Right.
Pop, and
Yeah.
you get these mufflers that are high, they've got to be illegal just from the noise ordinance alone.
Right. They like
These popping mufflers that they have.
Those baffles they put on them.
Yeah, and so, I don't know, she could help, bridge that.
And Steve's correct, because I think being respectful to those people, I think maybe they don't realize they're in a residential community and that people are living, a lot of people are working at the hospital, working odd hours and whatever. And they just, I'm sure they don't, I can't believe they do the same exact antics in the community they live in and sleep in and go for it, but don't realize it. So I think the only option is exactly what you're saying, Steve.
I think this is a targeted area because they love to listen to the noise that the cars can make.
Right.
So it's great to go in between these taller buildings and rev it up to listen. And,
it's not that long of a stretch,
Yeah.
but it's just long enough that they.
Well, we'll sit in the parking garages. Rip it.
oh, yeah. I'm amazed somebody's not ran into your building before because they tear it through Meridian so fast after they hit that light.
When I say that, sometimes I check because sometimes it sounds like a crash or it sounds like it sounds so scary.
Watched the guy just rip by us the other day, and he was going north on Meridian, and he pulled off next to your building.
Yeah, like we're
close to where you are.
Yeah.
Up onto the curb, got out, walked across the street to that apartment complex from Meridian.
Yeah.
But
I've seen people like swerve into like the Fabrica, like you'll see like skid marks there too.
So
anyway.
I don't know if this ever got, I can't remember over the years if it's been brought up, but about being able to pay for additional police presence within the community, since we're looking at ways to spend money, that, the city gives us something, but, we want, I don't know, more.
Even if it's for a couple of weeks, just for the reputation of
Right.
like, this is a drag racing street, like goes away,
Right.
maybe that will help.
Well, and they did a great job of putting up that no U-turn sign, but people U-turn there still all the time. It was great to get the sign up, but they don't enforce it. So
Right.
it's, you know, you can't.
We're getting security cameras, so will we have anything placed to where we could have monitoring of, say, Meridian, or is there any opportunity there?
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but because it was a request that we had last meeting to find out where those cameras are going. Okay.
I've requested.
Okay, sorry, but a great point here.
I mean, yeah, if they could monitor it and realize when these bike crews are coming through or whatever is happening, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Because those guys can be pretty rude.
So loud, the hot fall hours. Like sometimes it's like 3 a.m, like they'll wake us up. Sometimes it's like 2 p.m. You're like, oh my gosh, what's going
Well,
on?
these bikers that take all their tires off their bikes and just ride the wheelies all over the place. Hell, those guys are like 40 years old. So-
There was one that was like 12 feet tall. Did you see that one?
Oh, I haven't seen
That
that.
one was crazy. I don't know how he got up there and gets down.
Unreal.
Just the clowns of Channel District. Driving the one wheel, juggling.
Just one other little announcement. We're finished on this, or did you?
Please.
Oh,
Just one quick thing, the amplification probably for that meeting could be better than it normally is, if possible here, because if there's any more people, it won't be able to hear much. I mean, that should be really worked on.
Yeah, this isn't our facility though, but I can check. I'd have to reach out to the building manager.
Plenty
so.
of microphones around here, I'm sure they all work.
So it's JBL's right there.
So one other announcement doesn't, I think, impact really many of the people here, but after they finish the Twigs project, which a lot of people have been waiting, which is, I know is going to happen, they are moving on to Whiting. And so this will indirectly impact you. So you're aware of it?
Yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay, great. So there is a meeting May 20th that they're having at Stageworks at 5:30 to bring an update on the Whiting project. So basically, Channel Side to 12th is going to go completely under renovation. So, and we talked a little bit, they haven't sent the announcement out yet, but if anybody's has an interest, it's probably a good meeting to attend. I think it's at 5:30.
You said the 20th?
On the 20th at 5:30 at Stageworks. Yeah, okay. Road work, they're redoing the road work. I mean, part of it seems like you're in the country. You don't have sidewalks and all that. So they're going with the tabby look and all that throughout their underground, the whole drainage, irrigation, all that is being done. There's a pamphlet, if anybody's interested, it's about 70 pages of engineered documents to look at, but it's pretty extensive to improve it. It is going to impact that, I got to believe that parking, independent parking place right there at Washington and Channel Side, who does for the cruise parking in there. I'm assuming they're not going to be able to access off of Whiting. They're going to have to access it during this time to come off of Channel Side. So in case you weren't aware of it, Ed, yeah.
I don't recall seeing anything.
I'm assuming that's an independent owner of that, because that used to be Ken's property
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
sold that down. Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other new business? Okay.
I always laugh at Washington Street. That was my great-grandfather.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
Have a nice evening.
See you next month.
It's not mine. It's Gordon's. She said that. I knew we should have.
Oh, yeah, I gave you guys each the annual report. We
But
think it's an
no,
award
she's talking
winner.
about this one.